Jeff Glover, my man.
Yes, sir.
American Jiu-Jitsu legend. Jiu-Jitsu legend in the house.
Thank you, man. Coming from you, that means a lot. I'm also on Instagram Live right here, too.
Damn.
So for those of you watching on IG Live, I'm here with Alberto Crane. And he's got me here in his studio. And we're going to do a podcast.
The first, my first memory of you was, I think you said you were 16? You were a teenager with Mike Florenby.
That's right.
At a Joe Moreira invitational. It was in a tent. And you were, I don't think you were that good at yet, you know? I
was always good.
Like white belt, blue belt. Well, yeah, you're not experienced, you know?
I was blue.
You were newer, yeah. But like you could tell, like you were in, like it was your life, you know? Yeah. You were all in.
Yeah, at that time, you know, white, blue, purple belt, I was pretty much following Frenchie around throughout his day. So morning class, his private classes, I was the assistant. For the kids' classes, I was the assistant. He used to do like a women's self-defense class, and I always helped him with that. And then the evening class I did. So it was always like, you know, 5 days a week of 3 to 4 jiu-jitsu sessions a day for about every day for like 7 years.
7 years.
About until I got my black belt.
How old were you when you started?
16.
16, okay. Yeah, so you could tell that was your life. You know, you were in. You got you know, you were bitten by the. You were in, and you were just laying on the mat. That was and Mike Florenby, right, who helped Frangia start Paragon.
You're right. He was Frangia's financial backer.
Right, his partner, and I think did his work visa, right, too, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he might have.
Something like that.
Mike
did
a lot of work to help Paragon, you know, get going and get its feet underneath it.
But, yeah, he's like, this is Jeff Glover, one of our kids, you know. Nice.
Yeah, Mike was the man. He did a lot of work, man. I always give a lot of credit to Frangia, and I think oftentimes I forget about Mike. Mike did put in a lot of work with me personally, and helping me just become a better person.
He was involved with the Dog Brothers.
Yeah,
you seen those guys?
Yeah, the stick fighting. Yeah.
So one of his mentors, Arlen Sanford, lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that's how I knew Mike. And then I remember he moved out to SoCal, to Santa Barbara, right? And next thing I knew, I saw Jeff Glover chilling on the mat, put his gi maybe as his pillow. It was on the mat. I was like, okay, he's living on the mat. This kid's living on the mat. You know,
I don't need to tell you, you know, it's where we find our most comfort. It's where I find myself, able to express myself, and people understand me when I'm explaining jiu-jitsu. But if I try to explain anything else in my life, I stumble through it and have a hard time. And I'm just not comfortable being at bars. I'm not comfortable going to parties. I'm not comfortable doing most anything except being on the mat, you know? And I realized that pretty early on. At 16, 17 years old, I realized, like, whoa, being on the mat with all these guys and being a part of this team, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Your home.
My home, you know, real quick became the home.
You grew up in Santa Barbara?
I grew up in Montebello, which is East LA.
East LA.
Yeah, okay. Montebello, Pico Rivera, in that area. Excuse me. And then when I was like 13, I moved to Santa Barbara. And that's where I met Frangia.
What brought you to Santa Barbara?
My mom. We moved out of East LA. My mom got a job. She was an RN, and she got a job in Santa Barbara at Cottage Hospital. And she moved us from East LA to Santa Barbara, which was a pretty significant change. Those are two different worlds, man. Yeah. You know, they're both very like liberal cities, you know, but still it went from like being around only Mexican and Asian kids and black kids, and then moving to Santa Barbara, and there was other white kids, and there was jiu-jitsu.
So how was it growing up being like the only white kid in the neighborhood?
You know, it wasn't an issue.
Is that why you wanted to learn jiu-jitsu?
Right? Because I was picked on so hard. No, you know, I never really experienced, maybe I did experience like being a minority, being the only, you know, white kid around there, but I don't really remember being like a racist.
You had a good childhood.
Issue. Yeah, nobody was like racist towards me. None of the kids. We all discriminated against each other equally.
Nice. And what was how did you get into your first class of jiu-jitsu?
that started with Frangia. So I went to meet Frangia. What happened was he moved into my neighborhood in Santa Barbara. And he moved in, not just him, it was him, his wife, the mother-in-law, the cousin, the uncle, the next door neighbor from Sao Paulo. I mean, there was like 18 Brazilians in this one house. So
he moved in next door, you said?
I mean, it was like 3 houses.
3 houses down.
Yeah, from my mom's house in Santa Barbara on the west side. And, you know, whatever. I'm a 16-year-old kid running through the neighborhood. And thank you. And I managed to run across him while he's outside his house or whatever. And he would lay down a tarp. Frangie would lay a tarp on his front yard. And,
on his front yard.
On his front yard. Damn, and freaking wrestle. Huh? And I remember being like, what is that? What are you guys doing? You know? And then, you know, he's like, oh, this is jiu-jitsu, bada bada. Next thing you know, a week later, and I already got a gi. And I remember telling I bought a gi within 4 days. I knew. I was like, whoa, that was fun. Let's do that again. And I remember honestly, like first 15 days at least, must have been early. First 15 days talking to Frangia, telling him, I don't know if I said it exactly this way, but I said, I want your life. I want to grow up and do what you do. And, you know, he was like, oh, stick with it, boy. Follow me. I'll show you how to do.
How to do.
I show you how to do, Jeff. Yeah, got to show up, man. No smoking so much. Come and train every day, Jeff. Okay, boy. Let's go do. And that was it.
That's how it began.
Yeah. And it's been a beautiful relationship ever since. You know, it became a father figure. I really, through my childhood, I didn't really have my dad around. So I never really had like a positive male role model in my life. And, you know, I'm sure it's affected me in many ways.
Of course.
And of course, right? Of course. And you know,
I think a lot of actually jiu-jitsu black belts, guys that actually do this, it feels like a void, you know, jiu-jitsu does. That's
exactly what it was for me. And not only that, he was the person. Frangia as the person became this role model to me. This man that I valued. If he was mad at me, I didn't like that. I never really cared about like somebody being mad at me. You know, if I got caught in getting in trouble or something, I didn't have an uncle or a dad to be mad at me. If my mom got mad at me, I'd be like, whatever, woman, I ain't listening to you. I'm a man. And Frangia would be like, boy, I'm very mad with you. You don't come train for 2 weeks now. All of a sudden I had discipline in my life and a reason to not be a shithead because Frangia would take jiu-jitsu away from me, you know? And I think, that kind of started taking away the little pest that was in me, the antagonistic little punk that I always have been. And, you know, jiu-jitsu became something that I could lose. So stop acting that way and grow up. It's kind of what happened.
And he straightened you out.
He sure did. And he would hit me, you know, like Frangie would like, you know, treat me like a son. He'd be like, boy, sometimes you need to get smacked around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the crazy thing was like you being a coach now too, right? Like you care for people like they're your kids, right? You care like nobody's gonna care like that, you know?
Yeah.
And well, it's hard to care for somebody until like that martial art aspect, right? The martial arts school.
Yeah, especially when they won't listen too. Like you give people advice, you know, and they just don't take it. And I'm guilty of doing this. That's why I know what I'm talking about. It takes one to know one, you know? I mean, there's many things Frangio used to tell me, like, stop doing this or do more of this. And I would, okay, and not do it. You know, and he'd get frustrated. You know, I would complain about something that he already told me how to deal with. I wouldn't deal with it and complain to him again. And he'd be like, I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear your third time complaining about this same thing that I already gave you a solution for. You know, and as a coach, that happens to me now. And I start going like, Frangia had so much patience with me. You know, I need to have patience with this student the same way Frangia did for me.
What was your foray into your first tournament?
My first tournament, I lost. I got choked out by some green belt.
Green belt.
I remember being like, what's a green belt? I was like, that's not on the scale. You told me blue. And Frangia was like, green belts, you know, it's for the kids that are really good, man. And I fought this kid and he choked me out. You know, I got rear naked choked.
In LA?
It was...
because there weren't that many tournaments at the time,
it was a Joe Moreira tournament.
Joe Moreira.
Yeah. When I first started, it was 2000.
2000.
Jean-Jacques Machado and Joe Moreira were throwing all the tournaments.
Right.
And
right.
Then eventually later down the road was the Compton one, the outdoor one. But my first event was a Joe Moreira tournament. For those of you who don't know Joe Moreira, check him out. He's old school jiu-jitsu. Back in the day.
He's the guy who organized the first tournaments, like the Pans. I think he was a part of that. Well,
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, then Irvine, right? They had the Irvine tournaments. I think it was before your time, even like the late 90s. And then they started to have him at the outdoor area that there's tents and stuff. But he was like the pioneer of tournaments here in SoCal.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Moreira. I think he kind of gets left behind a little bit when people talk about like OGs and like people who helped get the ball rolling here in California. I think he was a big guy.
For sure.
Him and John Jock. I used to go to the John Jock tournaments. I remember the first no-gi tournament.
You that's it. That? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
We were like, what? No-gi?
Yeah.
Like, and it was still, I remember that first tournament, they actually allowed grabbing of the shirt. I remember after that, they changed the rules. They're like, we can't be grabbing on shirts. Ryan
Gregg, yeah, was organizing it for him.
Yeah, that tournament was fun, man. I remember because my brother Tyrone went in and
he won all the things. I think he beat me too. Eddie Bravo, and you know it's funny. Frangia coached me at that tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
Frangia liked you, man. He always liked you. I don't know what the connection was.
Yeah,
with
we connected. Yeah. I didn't know really before, and we connected, and yeah.
I always thought
that was the first. I think that was the first no-gi tournament that they had.
It was that I remember.
Yeah. Because it was after the ADCC. And Jean-Jacques came back, and he's like, we got to do no-gi tournaments.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense, because Jean-Jacques was the champ. He was winning all that, and we came back, and it was like, cool, here's this new thing we got to do. No-gi was, I loved it.
And then they started having the Grappler's Quests, right? Where you came out. That was your...
I shined in that one.
You shined in that.
Yeah. Brian Simmons gave me a lot of opportunity.
How many time Grappler's Quest champion?
2,000 times.
Right. Yeah. It was more than Renato. What's his name?
Renato Laranja.
Renato Laranja.
Yeah. Every time I tell that story, I'm like, 28-time champion, 38-time champion, the 48-time Grappler's Quest champion. No, I think I won it like 15. I won like 15 different 15 gold medals. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were taking all weights,
absolutes.
Absolutes.
I won the absolute twice.
Like I was telling everybody earlier today that my favorite memory, you've done all these, world class, world championships and ADCC and this and that. My favorite memory is the ADCC trials, North American trials, and you had to be invited. It wasn't you could just show up. You had to be invited, and they paid for your trip to go out there. So they had the best grapplers of North America, Canada, and the US, and they flew us out to Vancouver. And then
sketchy flights too. I mean, propellers. Have you seen the movie La Bamba? where they all go down in that airplane? It was one of those airplanes.
And then they drove us in the middle of nowhere.
3 hours from the airport to the damn location where the tournament was.
It was in some elementary school
in the middle of Canada,
and it was only us. Like the best fighter is the best, grapplers.
There was that was the other thing too. Is why did they do it there? Because had you hosted it anywhere else, we could have filled that venue with spectators.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was the who's who of North American grapplers at the time. I mean, it was an all-star show, man. And nobody was there to see it.
Yeah, so it was just all of us.
Gumby has the footage. Gumby
has it?
Gumby has it? Gumby was there. God. Gumby, I know you have the footage. Release it.
Yeah, he's got to dig that out, man.
Yeah, that was a fun day. That guy, Nick Ring, there was a guy named Nick Ring, and he was getting into it, and he's a kickboxer, and I fought him in the absolute. He wasn't aware of the rules. He did like a little slam on me, and I felt bad because he did it. He honestly didn't know, dude. You know what I'm saying? But he got rushed.
Yeah, but you slap it on, and then these guys don't know how to deal, and then they try to rough you up because they can, right? You were a smaller guy.
Yeah, I was a smaller guy. I was 145. He was probably like 200 pounds, 180, something like that. He does a little slam on me. I was okay. I was like, oh. And then the next thing I know, Rick Miglerese, Justin Chim,
all of us, because you were jiu-jitsu, you were representing jiu-jitsu to the max, to the fullest, and you were flying through the air, doing like flying triangles, flying everything through the air. This little skinny kid, and like everybody's like, oh my god, and he stole the show. We had all these ADCC trial champions, but you're the one who stole the show, and it was just a random open weight that they did at the end of the tournament. And you ended up doing like 8 matches, and all of us were just like, oh man, like just getting more pumped up with each match. And I think you submitted like everybody with like ridiculous submissions,
flying triangles and stuff. Yeah, it was a good day.
Beating all comers, all sizes, all weights.
That poor guy Nick Ring though, man, he did that slam on me. He gets rushed. Maybe I'm remembering this crazy, but
no, I remember this.
Like 5, 6, maybe even like 10 dudes rushed the mat, surrounded him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What, man?" They're like, "Don't fuck with Glover. That's our dude. Don't ever slam Glover. You know the rules." And he was like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again." I ended up becoming good friends with Nick.
Yeah.
And I did a trip with him after that. And he hosted me for a seminar, and we ended up becoming good friends. Nick Ring, he was a good guy. But that was funny. You know who hit a flying triangle that day? Miglarice. Ricky Miglarice. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Big old Rick.
Yeah, yeah.
He threw a flying triangle. He didn't finish it. But Rick had a good day. We all had a great tournament that day, man.
That was fun.
Yeah. What was it? The 2007 or 2006 North?
Before that. It was before that. It was
No, it was 2006 or 7.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. That's crazy though. That was crazy.
Man, no, I think you're right, dog. I think you're right. Was it, what year was that?
It was every 2 years,
2004?
right? So it was for the it was before this. So 2003, then 2004. Yeah, it was 2004.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. 2000, I think it was 2004 because it was after the Javi fight.
Either way, yeah. Javi Vasquez,
Because
Alberto.
we cut weight, we cut weight together in the
You
sauna.
guys were all cutting weight, and I didn't have to cut anything.
145 pounds.
I remember you guys were all laughing at me when I stepped on the scale because you guys were all like naked and like dripping sweat, trying to make it just on the pound. I stepped on, it was like 138.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. You guys were all laughing at me. That was a fun trip,
Yeah,
brother.
but you stole that show. That was, man, that's my favorite memory, you know, and hopefully Gumby has the footage, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Gumby.
And Scotty, you got to hang out with Scotty this weekend.
Yeah, Scotty.
These guys have done so much for the sport, you know, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy how much somebody can do in the game, even though they're not like a top level competitor. You know, Scotty and Gumby were never like top level competitors, but holy crap, they've left a mark on me in my life.
Yeah. I mean, all of us at that era, we needed those guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their support, the footage, the
t-shirts, the stickers.
Yeah. That's a big part. And that's what when I think of you, like you were an inspiration for me. Okay, you were younger, you were my little brother, or all of our little brother, jiu-jitsu little brother, but you inspired us, you know, with your spectacularness and just technique and just going for it, you know. To this day, to this day. So every time like you want to come down, I'm like, it's an honor for me. It's a big pleasure, you know, to have you here and share, you know, just the energy that you bring.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's what it's about, right? It's what it's about.
Yeah, you know, I try to share the joy that I've been given in my life from, it's like you said, you know, there's people that inspire you. Like I was so inspired, you know, by people like you and Javi. A big person that inspired me was Leo Vieira. Leo Vieira and Ted Day. You know, I was like, I want to do jiu-jitsu the way they do jiu-jitsu. It's like, it just looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I always wanted to give back and make sure that my jiu-jitsu looked the way Ted Day's jiu-jitsu looked. I always wanted to just watch him. I was like, I want people to watch me. What do I need to do? And it's like, I did all those moves. Donkey guard, jumping triangles.
It's funny, man. You just said that, like Leo Vieira's brother's, Ricardo Vieira's match with Hobson Wara in the Worlds.
Unreal.
That was my favorite match ever.
Unreal, man. People, you guys got to see that match, dude. All those old Hobson Wara matches were just so good.
But it was just ridiculous, you know.
Unreal, that match, man.
You sit your painting, man.
Did I just
I got Jeff Glover, and that's one of the reasons why I got you here, you know. It's because you are a big inspiration for me. Just you symbolize what jiu-jitsu is about, just being like bringing free spirit, technique.
Thank you, man.
You know, what it's all about, you know.
Yeah, I definitely
American too.
Definitely blessed.
For me as an American, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
just going for it and being a soldier too for jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Always loyal to like your sensei and professor, and you know.
That's the easiest part because he's so loyal to me. He's made it ridiculously easy to stay loyal and to stay in his life. And it's crazy because I hear so many people have falling outs with their coaches or whatever. That's never once been an issue with Frenji and I. He's always been father figure to me. I've always like bowed my head in respect when he tells me some shit, you know, because I know when he's telling me stuff, it's coming from love and it's coming from a place of trying to help me grow. And he's been so easy to be loyal to, man.
To this day, huh?
To this day, I still call him and talk to him at least every other day for advice in my life. You know, I go to him when I'm having issues with whatever it is. I could be financial, girlfriends, fucking getting in fights with my friends, whatever. I can't. I've called him before and been like, Frenji, fuck, man, I need to clean my house. I'm just so lazy right now. I don't want to get up and clean. He'll be like, oh boy, get up, clean this shit, man. You can't live like this. You live like a pig. Get up and clean, boy. I'm like, fuck, all right, put my phone down, start cleaning. Like, Frenchie had fucking motivated me right now.
It's funny, man.
Yeah.
Where's your dad?
My dad, he's in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he lives there now?
Yeah, my dad was a drug addict, had a lot of drug issues for a long time through my childhood.
So he disappeared.
He disappeared when I was 7. He left, and you know, my mom was single for a long time. He ended up living in Las Vegas. It's a long, horrible story. My poor dad, you know.
But he came out the other side.
Drugs really ruined his life, you know. But he ended up getting back with my mother.
Wow.
20 years later.
No way.
Which is so weird and awkward, and I hate it, you know. And I've had a lot of issues and resentment over that, and I've had to get over it a lot.
Because you miss your childhood.
Yeah, you know, it's like, how do you not be upset about that? It's like, you disappear when I'm 7 and come back when I'm 21. How do you expect me to just be all like, hey, come back, be with my mom? There's been a lot of issues with that, and Frangie has been there to support me the whole time for that. You know, when I'm like issues like, fuck, Frangie, I want to sock my dad, bro. I just found out that he's selling drugs to some kids in the neighborhoods or some shit like that. I call Frangie and talk to him about it, you know, because I don't know who else to talk to about that stuff, and I don't want to talk to anybody else about stuff like that. Frangie is the person I have in my life. My rock, you know, and I'm so blessed to have that. But yeah, my dad lives with my mom in Santa Barbara now, and you know, they're getting older, and I'm trying my best to help them out with their lives now too. So, but you know, nothing's perfect in life, man. People make mistakes.
That's a common theme, man.
Trying to grow.
With the Jiu-Jitsu black belts and filling those voids, you know, like missing. It's a common thing, right? Like missing dads, you know. Yeah. Like even my own dad, right? He was gone most of my childhood too.
Really?
Yeah, like you know, being an alcoholic and stuff. But he got a second chance. When I was like maybe 13 or so, he came back,
and it's all good.
It's okay, you know. It's okay. Yeah, it's all good. I love my dad, and you know, like, not that I'm kind of, I guess, in that way. My sister, I have an older sister, so he missed more of hers. You know.
Do you have some resentment for those years that you hold on to?
You know, I try to say I don't. You know, and I think I'm just kind of, me being a dad now. I struggle, you know. I struggle just knowing how to be a dad, you know, in a way, just because, like, you know,
there's no textbook for it.
Yeah, you know, I think that's maybe for everybody, but just especially not having that around, you know, I really struggle. But I have an amazing wife, and so, that's good. You know, do our best, you know. Yeah. But I don't have resentment like that, I think, you know, and my dad's a really good guy, you know, too. And from his background, from his childhood, he was like an orphan. Really?
Where is he at? New Mexico?
He was born in Germany, post World War II. It's like something out of a movie. Wow. Brought over.
But he was a citizen.
Well, he was abused by his adopted mother. Those parents that adopted him separated.
They adopted him from Germany.
From Germany
to America.
And then they separated, and the mom abused him. Said, "You're gonna be nothing. I'm gonna get you deported back to Germany." So that's how he grew up. You know.
Just thinking very little of himself. That will change. That will affect how.
And he put himself through college, and just, you know, all these people kind of came together. My mom's mother was a teacher, like watched out over him. He was in a special home for like kind of like crazy kids, and somehow he made it out because he was kind of a smart kid and he worked really hard, and he made it out of all that craziness, you know.
That's so remarkable, man.
So it's hard to, you know, from where he came from, you know, it's hard to be like.
That's a good point. It's hard to judge people, man. You know, you're never in anybody's shoes, and
so he's really remarkable, and then just, yeah, he did his best, right, with what he had, and he came back. He got a second chance, and so, you know, I don't think I have resentment like that, and I definitely forgive him, and I totally understand from his, you know, I think maybe your dad too, probably, I don't know his background or whatever, but I just try to look at everybody's side, right, and their background, what they came from.
Yeah,
it's hard, right?
Everybody was a kid. You know, everybody was a kid at one point. That's one thing I look at my father, and I'm like, he had a rough upbringing too. You know, he was picked on a lot. He has all these issues, and then, you know, he became a party animal, and then that turns into drugs and da-da-da, and then the party keeps going, and then you have kids, and all of a sudden the kids are here, but you want to keep partying. And I think that's the issue that happened with my dad. Yeah.
But it's usually masking some other issue, right? Some other child issue.
Yeah. And
the good news is we have jiu-jitsu.
We do.
We found jiu-jitsu at a young age. And we get to spread that love and that energy.
And yeah, exactly. I get to share it with people. That's my favorite thing about this is it's like, not everybody. Most of the people I talk to about this don't want to hear it. Most of my friends that are outside of jiu-jitsu, when I bring it up, they quickly want to change the subject. And I understand it's weird, you know, but for those of us that love this, we can't stop talking about it. You know, and like, I talk about the same things over and over and over again, and I don't get sick of it. And that's how I know I love jiu-jitsu. You know,
it's I think it's maybe with other things, but you know, we do jiu-jitsu, so like somebody that's not doing jiu-jitsu, you can't even have a conversation with them. I don't know if you found this. You're kind of antisocial with if they're not in that world, you know?
Yeah.
You find the same thing?
Absolutely. My girlfriend tries to talk to me about nursing stuff. She comes home and she starts talking all this nursing stuff, and I just don't know what she's talking about. She's like, oh, I got all these things, a catheter for the CP, starts dropping all these acronyms I don't understand. And I'm sitting there trying to relate and trying to understand. And as she's talking and telling me this, I'm thinking about all the people I do this to. I'll be like, dude, I was in jiu-jitsu and da-da-da. And the guy's looking at me like, what is Glover talking about? And I'm just talking my jiu-jitsu talk. If they don't care, they don't know what I'm talking about. They're being polite and they're doing oh, cool. Oh, an arm drag. Okay. I don't know what that means, but good for you. It's like, I just prefer people that know what I'm talking about when I start talking about jiu-jitsu. I prefer to be around those people. You know.
Who were for years, of course, Frangie, was your professor, and what are some big influences on your jiu-jitsu journey? I know John Malone stayed some time up in Santa Barbara back in the day when he was one of the OG, competitor guys, Yeah,
John Malone. John Malone was huge. Solo used to come through and motivate us. Yeah, Frangie was good friends with Solo.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Solo came through several times. Clever Luciano.
Clever Luciano.
Clever, remember? Clever in those tournaments.
Man,
the
my
Copa Pacific
God, man.
Clever,
hey, man.
Oh, he's checking his watch and shit.
Man, after all those years, I got my black belt debut was with him,
Really?
Yeah, man.
Did you beat him?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Of course I had to. Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
I'm around.
You're kidding me after all those tournaments?
Right? Wow.
There's no way, man. There's no way.
Yeah,
but he's a legend, man. He's a legend, Like, and I had whatever, got some points and stuff, but he's a legend, man.
Yeah.
His place in the sport and what he did also for jiu-jitsu in Brazil and also here, right?
I don't know about what he did in Brazil, but I know what he did here was great. The Copa Pacifica every year was so big.
He beat like Draculino, right? My professor.
Really?
He beat Marcio Feitosa. He beat the best of the best. The guy can compete, man.
Yeah.
He was one of the best in the world, for sure.
Frangie used to talk about him a lot too. Said how tough he was. But he's
Yeah.
little, but he's very
little,
tough.
yeah.
Man. Frangie would often say, like, I don't know if I could even beat him. I remember, I remember when I first met Frangie, I didn't know anybody else. I just thought Frangie was the only black belt in the world. And then slowly you start learning there's more guys. There's all these other black belts you start learning about. The first person I heard Frangie admit that he would not win was Jean-Jacques Machado.
Jean-Jacques Machado?
He said it out loud. He was like, I forget, somebody asked him, who do you want to fight? He was like, someday I would like to have a match with the Jean-Jacques. I know I would lose, but I would like to have the experience to roll with him. He is one great guy. I want to fight with him someday. And I was like, who's this? Who the
Frangie is
fuck
cool,
is
man.
Jean-Jacques?
He's cool, man. Frangie is cool.
Frangie is the
good
man.
guy, man.
He's a family
He's the real
man.
deal, man.
He loves
Real
his
deal.
people and his team.
Humble, like authentic,
Yeah. It's easy to stay loyal to him. But yeah, those guys, back to the question you asked, Tyrone Glover, my jiu-jitsu big brother, he motivated me a lot. Mike Florimbi, of course, Adam Benchea, a bunch of guys from Paragon. But nobody inspired me more than Teddy. Fernando Teddy was the guy that pumped me up the most when I can watch. Back in the day, we didn't have YouTube to watch all these videos.
Right.
So every once in a while, I'd find a Scotty would put out a tape with a Teddy on it. And it would be like, whoa, who's that guy?
Teddy, who'd bring all
it was just,
kids.
Where did we find footage back in the day? Before there was YouTube.
Man, there was Scotty, but in Brazil, I would find this guy named Paqueta.
Paqueta or something?
Paqueta, exactly. With Carlson Gracie Black Belt. And he would record with his VHS camera all the matches.
Yeah.
And you would find them and you would get those matches. And then you would VHS tape and you'd play and watch and dissect. And also then a couple of years later, they had some of the matches on Sport TV. So I would record the matches on Sport TV, replay, break it down. I would study a lot. Leo Vieira.
On tape.
On
VHS.
tape. Yeah.
VHS,
I would study the matches, over and over and over, and then I would practice it, Old
Mark
school.
Lehman, too.
Mark Lehman had some great ones.
The Mark Lehman remix videos were huge.
He put, I think I made one of his remix videos, my cross guard.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, right on.
Yeah, you were on there.
But he knew like all the guys, like there were not to me a guy who had the over underpass, He knew all the guys in the best positions, He knew what was up,
Lehman studied, bro.
He studied. He was he's big time guy of tape,
Yeah, absolutely. He sure was, man.
And so for me, when I made his tape, I was like, oh man, it's what an honor, right? He knows what's up,
those VHS tapes he first put out. He called them the remix, the Mundial remix, Mundial remix.
And then he got in trouble with ADCC, right? Because he put out the ADCC.
And then
pirated.
And then he got in trouble for putting rap music for putting copyrighted music.
Oh, okay.
And he had to change all of it and stop selling them or something like that.
Okay.
I think he made like $30,000, and then they got on his radar, and he had to like.
Okay.
Something happened.
Something like that.
But Mark was huge for me. I remember when I first met Mark at a Pan Am's in Santa Barbara. When they did in Santa Barbara that one year, I think it was 2003. But Mark had a T-shirt that said, "Hi, my name is Mark Lehman. I sell jiu-jitsu tapes. Do you want to buy one?" And it was on his shirt, you know. And he came up to me. I was like, "Whoa, who's that dude?" And he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, you're a Glover, aren't you? You're that kid everyone's talking about. Yo, I'd love to train with you. Come out to my place in Vegas."
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, this was before he was Cobra Kai though.
Oh, okay.
It was still like forming.
It was still the
still
John
becoming.
Lewis,
They were still
what was it called? The
J-Sect.
J-Sect.
They were still J-Sect. So I went out there with them with the J-Sect, and that's where I met Sim and Sonny and Ulysses and his whole squad. And
like you lived in Vegas for a while.
That's where I made the move. So when I got my black belt, Frangia gave me my black belt on the podium at the Pan Ams. I won the Pan Ams for the second year in a row. 4 fights, 4 submissions. No big deal.
Pans?
The Pans. It was 2006.
Brown belt?
Yeah, I won that in 2006. I got my black belt.
Beast, man. Fucking beast. You know? He's so nice and so like, you don't take yourself serious, but you're a fucking beast. Fucking beast.
Thank you, brother.
Savage, you know?
I had my
fucking
day.
Savage.
Annoying. I'm
so annoying.
You know?
This little skinny guy just flying through the air, just fucking people up.
Frangie used to always tell people like,
man,
when guys would come into the gym all tough, he would call me the boy. He'd be like, "Go over there, train with the little boy."
Yeah, you look like a little boy, you know?
Go train with the little boy.
Till this day.
He's just a boy. His name is Jaffe. Jaffe. He's a little boy.
Jaffe.
His name is a Jaffe. Go over there with him. He's a little boy. Train with him. And then I would fucking, choke him out over and over again. But yeah, I was saying when Frangia gave me my black belt on the podium, a week before that, I told Frangia that I was leaving Santa Barbara and I was leaving Paragon, and I was going with Mark Lehman full time. Mark Lehman offered me a job, and Frangia and I were kind of like having an issue with it, And Frangia, was wrapping the belt.
It's normal, right? He's like sad,
It was a week of kind of disagreeing with each other, where he was like, "What, boy, you're leaving me?" Like,
yeah.
He's wrapping the belt around me, He whispers in my ear, he goes, "Boy, I'm so proud of you. Go to that Mark Lehman gym, show him how we do here, the Paragon style. Go represent. I love you, boy." I'm out crying. I'm trying not to cry and shit. I'm like, "I want to represent you so much. I love you." But Frangia sent me off to Mark Lehman with love instead of "fuck you, boy."
Yeah, of course.
It was like
you're like a son,
Yeah, it was like I think had that happened with many other people, many other teachers would have been taken that a bad way, and probably never wanted to talk to me
his
again.
Character again, right?
Yeah, but Frangia, he was just like, "Man, boy, I'm sad to lose you, but I love you.
What's the best for you?
I want the best for you. Go show him how we do it, man. Show him how I taught you. And to this day, I still 90% of the jiu-jitsu that I do and teach is directly moves that I learned from Ricardo Frangia Miller. So shout out to my coach.
Yeah. And how long were you in Vegas for?
I did Cobra Kai for about 2 years. I was there for about 2 years. Mark hired me on as his gi teacher.
Gi teacher.
Yeah. So I was teaching, I went with Frangia, I was doing like 2 classes a week.
Because people try to say, "Oh, he does more." He does both, man. He does both, You got more into like no-gi. Maybe people know you more as no-gi later on, you know, but you do both.
Right.
I mean, look at Pan Ams. Nobody wins the Pans.
Yeah.
You're submitting everybody.
No, I was a jiu-jitsu fighter, bro.
Yeah, man.
We were
full on, 100%, 1,000%. I'll say that.
Yeah. I used to
You grew up on the mat. You used your gi as your pillow.
Yep. I didn't do judo. I didn't do wrestling. I didn't do sambo. I didn't do anything before. I was in the marching band, bro.
Marching band.
I was in the marching band. Frangie was like, "Boy, what the hell are you doing? You're in the marching band."
Saved your life, huh?
He was like, "You're never going to get laid like that."
He saved your life.
He saved my life.
Marching band.
Yeah, he was like,
"No dad around."
Dad, marching band.
Frangie saved your life.
I had long hair. I had a ponytail. He was like, "You look like a girl. You think music? No. You need to learn how to get strong and learn how to fight." And I was like, "Yeah, I do. Let's do this."
It's funny.
That's why I'm still amazed to this day. Anytime somebody tells me I'm good at jiu-jitsu or I'm good at fighting, there's still a little part of me that's like, "Really? Me?" People are like, "Dude, you're a legend. You're amazing."
Yeah.
But that will just show you what jiu-jitsu can do, man. Jiu-jitsu can take some kid from the marching band who's smaller than everybody, has no muscle definition, has no confidence, and turn him into me. Because I'm a pretty confident, happy, healthy, strong, physically fit dude now. And if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, that none of that would be true.
Yeah.
None of that would be true.
Yeah. Again, goes back to like, you're like a testament of jiu-jitsu. I mean, we're meeting you as a teenager. Like I saw that you wore jiu-jitsu. You wore jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? And being an American kid too, growing up with in that time too.
It was a special time, man, and I'm very blessed and privileged to have gone down the route I went down and had all these people in my lives, and you know, just the I couldn't imagine a different life, the jiu-jitsu life. You know,
grappling in t-shirts, right?
Stuff like just the people that I know from the jiu-jitsu
I just
community.
think those memories, you know, grappling in t-shirts, or you know, with 80cc you can take your shirt off, you know, but just now it's all proper with rash guards, and it's all perfect, you know.
Remember when rash guards were
basketball shorts, you know?
I remember when rash guards first started coming out. I was like, whoa. That's cool. Corral, like designs.
Yeah. From Brazil, we had to get the stuff from Brazil.
Dope, dude. Now it's like a whole nother world, man. But we got to see it, you know, rise and become where it is.
Tap Out.
Remember the Tap Out crew, man? Those guys were so
Those
cool.
guys were also the guys that really supported like jiu-jitsu. And
Charles, Dan punk ass, Tim the skyscraper. I was sponsored by them for a long time.
Yeah.
I would go to their warehouse in Rancho Cucamonga. They would give me a freaking shopping cart, and I would load it with like thousands of dollars of their merchandise.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a Tap Out belt buckle, Tap Out condoms, Tap Out socks.
Condoms?
They had Tap Out condoms. I never used those motherfuckers. But they had Tap Out socks, Tap Out shoes, Tap Out underwear, Tap Out hats. I mean, you name it, dude. Glass, everything. Wallet. Tap Out, everything. Me and Bill Cooper had everything Tap Out, dude. You know?
How long were you trained before Bill Cooper started?
About 2 years. When I was a blue belt, I got Cooper in there. Him and I grew up in he's from the same neighborhood in Santa Barbara that Frangie and I were in. We were all on the same block, all three of us.
No way.
Bill was just around the corner.
No way.
And he was always a little kid in the neighborhood, running around, jumping on skateboarding, just causing chaos, you know? And whatever, one night I run into him at the little elementary school, and he's skateboarding there, and I tell him about jiu-jitsu. He doubts it. We get into a fight. I beat his little ass like 3 times, and then he was like, you know, the first time I beat him up, he was like, no, we'll do this again. I'll fuck you up. I kicked his ass again. The third time I choked him again. He was like, all right, that's it. I'm coming in there. The next day he showed up, and that was it.
That was it.
He shaved his head the first day, bought a gi the next day, and was competing the next month. And was all about it. And we became full-time, everyday training partners.
Every day,
all day.
Yeah.
We would leave the gym.
Tyrone Glover, Bill Cooper. I mean,
Adon Benshia.
There's so many guys, right? It's hard.
We had a good team. You know, Bill and I took the majority of the attention.
Right.
You
guys competed in every single thing.
Yeah, you know, and we made it look good. Bill also had a very attractive style to watch.
Yeah.
And he was very young. The thing about Bill, though, is he didn't look young the way I did. I would be 17 but look like I'm 15. Bill was 15 and looked 15. But at 15, he was fighting in the 30-year-old divisions and tapping purple belts out. I remember Frangia one time yelling at Rodrigo. He was some Brazilian guy named
Teixeira?
Maybe. I forget who it was, but Frangia was going, 15, Rodrigo. My boy is 15, huh? The boy is only 15, Rodrigo. And Rodrigo's on the other side going like, shut up. Shut up, Frangia.
I remember there was a match. It was after Jeff Monson had already won, I think, 80cc a few times, you know, and it was the open weight division. You know, Jeff Monson's just trying to make some money, you know, some tournaments, you know, guerrilla guy. And then Jeff Monson's, you know, it's his next match, and he just like, he looks up, he shakes his head. He's like, oh, man.
Who, Cooper?
Yeah, about Cooper. Yeah, Bill Cooper. Jeff Monson shook his head like, oh, man, you know. It's like, I have to go against this guy, you know. Of course, he's like, just like probably double his size, right? Muscle just yoked out, and then you have Bill Cooper across the mat, just because he's so unexpectable. You don't know what's going to happen. Sure enough, he gave him a match.
No, he fought Bill in the finals of 5 different tournaments, 5 different absolute tournaments. Bill made it to the finals and lost to Monson by like a takedown.
Yeah, right. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, man, Monson was always there to stifle Cooper, man. Monson was always there. Cooper gave him
just the fact that a guy like that is shaking his head like, man, I have to go against this guy again.
Do you remember when Monson?
Because it's like it's close matches, you know.
Yeah, it was never. He never submitted him.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. It was so close, and everybody's kind of cheering for Bill, you know. Yeah. Because you know, it's like half his size.
It was never like a guard pass. Like something.
Bill also he's all jiu-jitsu, and then Chef Monson did a takedown and held and.
I mean, he was always so happy to win those matches that way too. I was always like, Munson, aren't you sick of just getting a fucking double leg on some skinny dude and winning that way? But Munson, to his credit, Munson did submit a lot of guys. He submitted Cameron Earl. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, he did.
He did.
North-South choke?
No, he took his back and choked him.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What tournament was that?
That was
Grappler's Quest?
It was Best of the West.
No way.
It was that Best
Vegas,
of the West.
huh?
It was in California, actually.
Damn.
Yeah,
I gotta hit up Brian Simmons, man.
Yeah,
he's another guy, right, that did a lot for us, for the sport, you know, in those times.
Mm-hmm.
The
Grappler's Quest.
2005 to probably 2004 to 2008, 9, right? Probably.
Well, Grappler's Quest?
Yeah.
I think it ran pretty healthy until 2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. He did a lot of East Coast stuff since he was East Coast.
Yeah.
You know?
He would do Vegas, those Vegas tournaments were huge.
Yeah. I did that first Grappler's Quest. I won my first no-gi tournament. Me and Eddie Bravo, I remember that was our first no-gi tournament that we won.
Really?
Yeah.
How many matches did you have with Eddie?
I didn't have it. I didn't compete with Eddie.
You guys aren't
ever, yeah. But he was a lighter division than me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the heavier division, but I won and he won, and we were
2000,
both,
right?
This is 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. The one where Mark Lehman ended up fighting Munson in the finals and beat him.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the open weight. I did the open weight division, and they made no rules because the Cafe Dantas, he held me in the guard, didn't move.
Man,
the whole match.
Him? He was
the whole match.
He used to win a lot.
Yeah.
He used to win a lot.
So they made the new rules where you can't stall like the whole match. It was like.
Do you remember when he slammed Joe Moreira?
No, I didn't. I wasn't there.
They did a fixed fight, bro.
A fixed fight.
It was a fixed fight. It was a professional main event.
Yeah, because they were the same gym, right? Dojo.
I forget what it was.
Affiliation.
Dude. It was the main event, but it was supposed to be Joe Moreira was making a comeback, and he was coming out of retirement to fight some young up and coming guy named Cafe Dantas. And then in the match, Joe Moreira, who's like 43 years old, Cafe Dantas is like 25, beast, jack, steroids, and good Joe Moreira's got a belly, pulls him into close guard, throws up a little arm bar from the close guard on him, like so easy. And Cafe like, it slams him. And everyone rushes the mat, and I'm like, oh shit. And Frangia's like, calm, Jeffy. I'm like, what do you mean calm? This guy, they're about to fight. It's going crazy. All these Brazilians are going nuts. He's like, it's a work, Jeffy. It's a fake fight. And I didn't understand what a fake fight was at the time. But apparently they talked about it and worked it before. I don't know if I should be saying this. Yeah. But
it's already past the statute of limitations, right?
Yeah. Do you remember a guy named Paulo Gazzi?
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
of course.
Frangia was supposed to fight that guy.
He's my friend, yeah.
They were supposed to compete that day.
No way.
And then he pulled out last minute and the match didn't happen. But we were there. I was there with Frangia.
Okay.
So Frangia was the match before the Joe Moreira main event. I forget what it was, man. It was some black belt super fight card.
That. Yeah. It was in a ring, right?
I think you're right, yeah.
It was in a ring, yeah. I remember that because I saw like those magazines. It was like Submission Fighter or...
And then they put a picture of that.
It was 80 Combat was the website back in those days where you got all the news from.
Remember To the Top, what was that? No Holds Barred Forum?
NHB Forum.
NHB Gear Forum.
Yeah.
And whenever something was like important, everyone would put TTT, To the Top. Remember that shit?
Before Facebook, before Instagram.
The forums, dude. The underground forums, man.
Oh my God. You're getting old, Jeff. What the hell? You still look like you're 15, but you know.
37, man. 37. I got gray hair and balding. But I'm all right. I stay happy. I got my memories. I got some good jiu-jitsu memories, man. I have some beautiful jiu-jitsu memories, some beautiful friends, and I'm just I'm a happy dude.
Yeah, man. Blessed, right?
I'm blessed. I've been happy for 20 years because of jiu-jitsu. So not too many complaints coming out of me. Mostly my lower back.
Lower back. We got to get you into tack fit.
I need some tack fit. I do.
I'll show you, man.
Yeah.
That's the warrior way. Warrior yoga. Like, that's the way, man. To complete jiu-jitsu.
No, we did.
For life.
You showed me a little bit earlier before the class.
Bells, yeah.
Yeah, and that was great.
Bells.
I would love to do that. If you guys watching, check.
We'll talk after.
Yeah, it's
after. Get you going.
I need to get in shape.
All my jiu-jitsu heroes, jiu-jitsu friends, black belts, I got to get them.
It's like you said, the yin and yang,
healthy,
man. We can't just train. There's also got to be heal. Train the body, heal the body.
I always say, like Mr. Miyagi, like, he knew how to heal Danielson's shoulder with the whatever it was, with the Karate Kid, right? And then Steven Seagal, with the, that's part of martial arts, right? Is the healing.
Yeah.
But we never really learned those things. It's just everyday pohada,
Yeah.
There's a part of that,
Just
but you
go hard. Just go hard.
But you need the other stuff to complete it, so you can be your best at every age.
I need the bomba. I need the acai bomba.
Knowledge.
I don't know, man. Someday I think my 40s, I'll probably take testosterone or growth hormone or stem cells or something like that.
I just went to, Scotty's hospital, right? And they did this new MS, like a fibroblast stem cell treatment,
How do you feel?
I feel great, man.
Yeah.
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great. And the science is there. And I was surprised how easy it was to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my first time driving into Mexico. Mm-hmm. And they treated me like family, the hospital. And
well, you are family to Scotty.
I mean, that's, all of us, right? It's like, that's how I felt,
Oh.
He tries to take care of all of his, his homies,
He always has. He always has. It's Scotty's a blessing in all of our lives, man. Yeah. Shout out to Scotty Nelson and Ed Clay and the whole crew, the Chipsa.
They're doing big things.
The hospital there in Mexico is doing a lot of great things for a lot of people.
Helping a lot of people, saving a lot of lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Scotty, Lucky Gee. He just put out that new UFC 1 gi. I'm still waiting for mine to come in the mail.
Yeah, I gotta get mine too. I'll order that thing, man. You kidding me?
Hell yeah.
Kidding me?
Fucking A.
He showed how, I think he was the original guy. He went to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Right? He went to Pakistan and he was the first guy to figure it out.
There's a video on YouTube where Scotty in detail explains what Alberto's talking about right now. And it's a remarkable story, man. You really got to find it. I don't know how to find it. YouTube, Scott Nelson,
Pakistan,
something like that.
The kimono story.
See if you can find it. He gives a whole story about it. It's freaking remarkable, the stuff Scotty gets into, man. If you're a fan of myself and Alberto and other jiu-jitsu guys, you need to understand how
the roots,
how much roots Scotty planted for us to be able to do our thing, man.
People, do the Shoei brand and all these things, but if there wasn't Scotty Nelson, there would be none of that. There would be none of these other gi companies too.
And he's so handsome, it's not fair.
50 years old, man.
He's 50 years old. He's looking good though. He's looking good.
Getting all dressed up with the suits now.
He's got style. He's got swagger. He rides those the one wheel. But he's got good jiu-jitsu too.
On the mat shops. He had the on the mat shops for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Scotty's done so much, dude. The 101 Submission DVD. For those of you that don't know about that, check that out. It's old school. It was one of the first DVDs in the jiu-jitsu game. And man, I watched that thing and rewinded it 10 million goddamn times. And just memorized everything on there. All the songs, every move that was on there. All 101 submissions. I knew every single one of them by the end of that.
Yeah.
He started the let's make jiu-jitsu DVDs.
Cool. Yeah, made it cool.
So 101 submissions, volume 1 and 2 and 3. Those were great, man. And then Cade, I don't know if you know Cade, Scott's brother, Cade Nelson. He put out a DVD. He's a black belt from 10th Planet as well. Cade put out one called Scar Tissue. And if you haven't seen Scar Tissue, Scar Tissue was great, bro.
Yeah, dengue fever, right? There was a dengue fever one.
There was a few. There was a few old school DVDs. You probably find them for free on YouTube, but yeah, they started it for us, man. Yeah. Much respect to the people who laid the foundation.
Yeah. How'd you end up in San Diego?
San Diego.
Because you moved to San Diego for how many years?
Yeah, I was there for 5 years.
5 years,
yep.
Wow.
I was the head teacher at Victory MMA alongside Dean Lister. And my friend Rudy Silva.
Jocko
was there. I was already friends with all these guys from tournaments, but I got the job offer. I was actually on vacation in Hawaii with Joel Tudor. And we were doing a surf trip. And I had just broke my leg that day. I forget what happened. I stepped on a Muay Thai pad, rolled it, and completely cracked my ankle. So I was 7 days in Hawaii with a broken ankle, can't surf or anything. Whatever. I get a phone call from Rudy, and Joel's with me, and I get the phone. I'm like, hey, what's up, Rudy? Bye-bye. He's like, yo, full-time job, Victory MMA with Dean Lister. Fucking, you're going to be making like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Yes or no? I was like, let me think about it. I'll call you back. Look over at Joel. Joel's about to punch me. He's like, what do you mean you're going to think about it? You better take that job. And I was like, all right, Uncle Joel. I'll call Rudy back. I'll take that job. A week later, I was in San Diego full time.
So you moved from Vegas?
I was in Santa Barbara actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've gone back and forth to Santa Barbara a few times.
Yeah.
So I got my black belt in Santa Barbara. Then I moved to Vegas for 2 years. And then I went back to Santa Barbara for 2 years. And then I went to San Diego for 5 years. Now I've been back in Santa Barbara for the 4th time for 2 years again now. So I go back and forth a lot.
How was it in San Diego?
It was
The
great.
scene.
It was great. So much jiu-jitsu. Giant classes.
Giant classes.
Giant classes. I would have 40 people in my classes. I came back to Santa Barbara and I would have like 8.
Yeah, because of the population. Right?
Yeah. And just, you know, San Diego, yeah, it's the population. But, you know, working with Jocko and Dean was pretty cool. The Jocko alone, that helped me so much. Jocko talking about me on his podcasts and people who listen to Jocko reaching out to me because of Jocko talking about me. And
you know, it's funny is there was a guy, he had was Higgins. He had him on his podcast, and he actually got certified in the CST TACFIT stuff back in the day. And actually, he gave Dean Lister his black belt. I didn't know that. He was a SEAL as well.
Jeff Higgs?
Jeff Higgs, yeah. Did you know him?
Of course. Jeff Higgs he's another guy nobody talks about. Who
Jeff Higgs,
an American who put in a lot of work
early days, you know.
He got his black belt from Fabio Santos.
Fabio Santos, exactly.
Yeah. So that whole lineage.
He studied different things, and what's funny is Scott Sonnen, the guy who created TACFIT, you know, he had he had this thing called Mastering the Saddle, and a lot of Danaher and all this. What does Danaher call it?
Sakaku. Something. They got a name for it.
Ogashi, what do you know?
Oshkosh Bagash,
yeah. So a lot of the stuff, man, is from him. Like, what's his name? What's the Wolverine guy's name?
Cummings?
Yeah, I've seen him mention him in interviews and stuff.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like way ahead of the time.
It's when people were talking shit about leg locks.
And he showed Higgins, what's his first name?
Jeff Higgs?
Jeff Higgs, yeah. Jeff Higgs. Higgs. So he showed Jeff Higgs, I think, some Sambo, and just to open up the mind to different aspects, you know, different things, you know, like Sambo and Judo and taking people down, you know. Yeah. And then sure enough, like, I don't know if Dean Lister started doing leg locks because of him, you know. I don't know.
He might have. That's where
maybe, you know.
That's where Dean did a lot of learning from that guy. But Dean did so much damage from that inside leg lock position. You know, like he I mean, you remember, man. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember back in the day, leg locks were cheating.
Of course,
leg locks didn't work, and I used to even think they didn't work. A person would put a leg lock on me, and oftentimes they didn't work. My legs are so damn flexible.
One of my favorite pictures.
My feet go backwards.
Right, one of my favorite pictures is you and Hobson Mora.
He's just looking at me.
He's like breaking. He's putting everything he has into that foot lock, and you're kind of you're kicking it. You're just like relaxed. You're like,
Well, we both cranked on each other that day. There's a picture of me. I got him in that knee bar, and I mean his leg was.
Oh, that's the picture. I think. Yeah. You had him in a knee bar, and he was like totally relaxed, fully extended,
clicking and clacking, click 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 click. I was like.
Oh. What tournament was that?
It was LA Sub X.
Sub X, yeah.
Rico Chiapparelli,
yeah.
Put that together.
That's that picture. That remember the guy took pictures. There was I don't know if it was the one you were at, you know, but yeah. They had the who's who on there.
Yeah, that was another fun card. Remember the LA Sub X where Jacare fought Randy Couture.
Yeah. That's the match. That's the tournament. Were you at that one?
I was at both of those.
Okay. Yeah, well, I competed at that one.
Who did you?
Joe Camacho.
Oh, rest in peace, big dog.
I know. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, he used to go to every tournament too.
I was supposed to go with what's the guy's name? He won ADCC one of the years, featherweight.
Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Really?
I was supposed to go with him, and then last minute he got something happened.
Yeah,
and
that would have been a good
Camacho.
match.
Yeah, I was ready.
That would have been.
I was training hard.
Yeah, Ronnie's I never beat that guy. I lost 3 matches to him. He was one guy I just couldn't get it against. I just didn't have. He had my number. Ronnie, I'm gonna come get you someday, dog.
Styles make fights, master divisions, fight to win.
Yeah. That was a fun card.
Do that. Show that foot again. That flexibility in your foot.
Well, my feet go backwards. That's why I say like.
See that? Can you see it in the camera?
Leg locks used to not. They still kind of don't work on me.
Oh my god!
But like I mean, even like this way, it bends really far this way.
Oh my god!
So when I would get straight foot locked, I remember being like, shit doesn't work.
Yeah, like my feet are really flexible too now. I think it's from the foot locks. You know? Just kind of you get more stretched out.
Yeah, we warped our feet.
Yeah. And so actually, I had to like do some kind of rehab, stuff to kind of get it back to normal. Yeah. So I could walk normal again.
Yeah. Yeah, I walk funny. You're like, don't worry, I walk this way because of jiu-jitsu. So it's not my bad genetics.
We gotta get you, man. I gotta get you into TACFIT, man. We want to keep training, man. Want to be happy, you know what I mean? Like all to the end, man. To the end. be like Haley or Gracie. You know what I mean?
I would love to. I live in Santa Barbara. I'm about an hour and a half away from here, but I need to, you hear a lot of stories about like Gordon Ryan always talks about how he would go, 2 hours to get into the city. It's like, dude, if you need it, an hour and a half ain't shit. If you need to go somewhere and
I mean, back in the day, that's what we had to do. I mean, I had to move to Brazil because that's where it was at,
Right.
So I dedicated and I committed.
You were out there with Pete, huh? Pete always tells stories about you and him.
Man, we didn't hang out that much, but I met him down there.
You guys were Americans going to Brazil together.
Yeah. So I went down. I was like 18, when I went down there. Believe it, that's crazy.
Scotty.
Well, Amal Easton actually went down first. He was the first American to go down.
That's another guy that you guys, if you don't know about him, he was another American that put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
so he's like my big brother.
Yeah.
He's the one who got me to go down to Brazil, and I lived with him. So I was like the second, if you want to call it, like somebody that really did something,
Yeah.
And then, I lived 6 months in Rio, in Baja, the Tijuca and Rio.
Wow.
And then I met Draculino, and then I ended up moving out there with him. He moved to another city, like the third largest city, Belo Horizonte. Belo Horizonte is how they call it. And man, it was all whites and blues. And,
how long were you there for?
Man, it was like straight, like over 3 years, but it was about 5 years that I was like really I was fully committed, I'd go for all the major tournaments, even after I moved back, Yeah,
I remember. What was it, 2002? You closed out Worlds or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who'd you close that with?
Marcia Vitoza,
That's right.
Yeah. And then I beat the guy who won the Danny Moraes, points, but he won the next 2 years after that.
That's a big win, though, man. Danny Moraes was huge.
Yeah, he was hard to beat. If you give up one advantage, that's it. He's got you.
He used to win a lot.
That's for sure.
Who's your biggest? Who do you think's the most prestigious victory you have over somebody?
Man, it's so tough, man. It's hard to say.
Top three.
For you.
Who's the top three best dudes that you managed to get a victory over?
I think who mean the most to me. I don't even think it's like that. I think it's just like where I'm at. Man, that's good,
That's a good question,
That's a good question.
Like for me, my win over Hobson Mora, that's like the biggest, greatest thing that ever happened in my career. My win over Kyotera, that was very special to me.
I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? My victory, my victory over Russ Mira. Do you remember Russ Mira?
Yeah, of course.
Russ Mira was a monster. He was undefeated. I was the first person to ever beat that guy.
way.
Yeah, I beat him at the ADCC World Tournament as the alternate match in 2005 when they had it at the Pyramid. So him and I fought, and I beat him, and I was the official alternate if somebody got injured and pulled out, which nobody did that year. So,
man, I would have to say Danny Moraes because he had beat me before.
Yeah.
Twice, I think. Once no gi, and then once at the Pans, like that same year. And it's like one advantage, and that's it. Can't make it up. And so I got ahead, and then I just cruise, and that was that. He was so hard to. He was just a monster competitor.
Game. He was a lifer.
And then, man, I think Eduardo Teles, it was later, it was like master division, but I was on a personal journey after like my MS diagnosis and stuff, and he was much a heavier guy than me, always, right? I was a lighter weight guy, and he was like a heavier guy, and he had just won the Nogi Worlds like maybe 2 years before, beating Philippe Lapena and stuff.
Wow, really?
Like the last second, yeah. So everybody's like, oh, you can't, kind of doubting, And he was on the opposite side of the bracket, and then we ended up meeting like the next day. It was like the finals were the next day, you know. So I was super pumped. It felt like the real deal, even though it was like a Master Worlds thing. Yeah.
It still counts.
It counts. It was cool, It was cool. I felt alive, I felt alive. So it kind of, for me, it meant something, Man, the guys that I beat. Man, there's so many matches, man.
Right?
Jesus Christ, so many matches.
It's hard to talk about that. 'Cause there's just so many. You start going down that memory roll, dude, and you're like, whoa, all of a sudden you're like 20 years thinking about something that happened 20 years ago. And it's like yesterday.
Man, it's hard, I think that, I don't know if it was like just Javi, but the way the Javi Vasquez MMA fight, I think just that because it was in New Mexico and I had like the whole place chanting. It was on pay-per-view. It was a big deal, I think that meant a lot to me.
Imagine if you lost that one.
Yeah, I couldn't. It was for my people,
Yeah.
It's for my people.
And he beat you in a grappling match before that.
No, I was after that.
Oh, he beat you in the grappling after that.
After that, yeah.
So
I think I felt bad because he hurt his knee right in that match. So I think that's my excuse. He's the man, though. He's the man.
Yeah, shout out to Javi.
Yeah, man, for sure. Respect, and beating cancer. He had cancer.
Yeah.
And I was telling Scotty, you know, like, you know, because they do the Gerson therapy. That's the original hospital where they did that.
The Max Gerson therapy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, with the vegetables and all the whole process.
13 juices. And
right. And so he did it by himself, you know, and most people can't do that. They don't have the discipline, you know. But of course, if you're a fighter, like you have to cut weight, you have to do everything right. Yeah. And so he like did it, you know, and healed himself from cancer, you know, all natural, right?
Yep. It's a beautiful story. It doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah. So big shout out to him. Yeah. Big respect, you know, as a fighter, as a competitor, as a person. Yeah. You know, so yeah, man, so many memories. And what's interesting too, like speaking of the master divisions, you know, like all the guys that are your opponents, you know, in the past, right, that you maybe like enemies, not the enemies, but they were like your, you know, your rivals, right?
Sure.
And some guys were like enemies, you didn't like them, you know, but now when we're older, we appreciate like those guys and we're like best friends, you know, like, you know, even like and all the guys from Carlson Gracie and Gracie Baja, and just, they're like best, there's a respect there, you know, because those guys brought out the best in each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Years later, you know,
it's hard not to respect that, dude.
You know, your opponent is your teacher. Your opponent brings out the best in you. And they realize that now being older, like, man, thank you, man.
Yeah. It's a crazy,
thank you for bringing out the best in me.
You have this really strong bond with some person that was trying to kill you for 5 minutes.
Right.
You know?
You trained, you gave everything you had to.
Like, that's weird, but I love this fucking dude. Yeah.
Well, at the time you think you hate him, but you know, years later you realize I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's how it was with Mike Fowler. Mike Fowler was a big one for me because he was the big guy on the East Coast, the big little white kid on the East Coast. I was the little white kid on the West Coast, you know? And I fought him and I lost to him and I was just so mad and butthurt about that and I hated him. I was like, fuck this fucking dude, man. He's trying to take my scene, you know? And I remember thinking like, dude, that's not how you got to do it. You need to appreciate that dude, man, because he made you come home and work your ass off and train hard because you want to beat him, you know? Yeah. And now all these years later, after fighting whatever, we fought 15 years ago, now it's like, dude, Mike's one of the best friends I have in my life. Yeah. You know, and I got love for that dude, you know, and we tried to kill each other.
That's it.
That's
right?
how we do it. That's the game we're in, man.
That's it.
It's a beautiful thing, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
amazing, man. You know, I'm thinking again, like, because you get me thinking now with all the guys. So there was a tournament. It wasn't a big tournament, but at Blue Belt, there's this guy Alberto Pesler. He would he would compete against in the finals of the Worlds with 97, sorry. It was like the second Worlds. Wow. So I lost, you know, I think my first match in 97. And then I watched every match and he ended up going against, so it was like 7 matches. And he met up with Terere in the finals, you know. And he had like a hook sweep and like a sitting guard hook sweep, you know. And I studied him, you know, and I would watch all the match and I saw the tournaments too. And I would stick around, I would watch all the matches and see what they were doing, you know, to win. And so then at purple belt, you know, and then at 98 I placed, you know, in the Worlds. Crazy. And then I got my purple belt soon after, and then it was a smaller tournament, and there was him and this Hedges Leber. He's around in San Diego.
Hedges,
yeah. So it was those two guys. They were in the same team too, in that tournament, and I got to go against them both and beat them both. You know,
nice.
And so then they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, he came out of nowhere. But
like Ringo.
Yeah, but I was there. You know, I was there. I was in the stands, studying. You know, and then I learned how to compete. Actually, I learned so much from Saulo, their mentor. Right? Yeah. It was crazy. I never trained with him, but all his interviews, I was obsessed. Just tactics and game planning and things like that. Yeah. And him saying, "Oh, I can beat anybody. Like, even if they're better than me, I can beat them." You know. So those, I think that moment, that little tournament, you know, it's like those, doesn't matter if it's a big or little, right?
Significant to you though.
Right.
Gave you the growth you needed to become the person you are, and you share and help so many people with jiu-jitsu now, man. It's like,
just overcoming like our own fears and doubts. Like, can I do it? Can I make it happen? You know?
Yeah. Dude, turn nothing like a tournament to make you go through that.
I'm sure, like, I mean, that little tournament in, you know, bumfuck, you know, small town in Canada, you know, and you with that open weight that you won, you know, like for me, I'm like, you know, you've done all these big tournaments and all these, you know, so many crazy matches. And for me, that was like, I mean, we were like, it was like we picked you up too on our shoulders. Yeah. I remember that. And we were like, yeah, so we were like chanting your name and, you know, like you won the Super Bowl, you know, like we won the Super Bowl.
Man, that's a very pleasant memory for me as well, dude.
You never ready to jump that guy when he tried to slam you?
Poor Nick. He was like, whoa. I was like, guys,
you're like a little brother, you know, he's our representative, you know?
Poor guy, man. He thought Miguel Reese was going to put his foot in his throat.
Oh my God. Some big guys in the heavyweights with everybody there. Man.
I think Dave Avalon came running over with his all hairy chested and shit running over.
He got scared from the hair.
He's like, ah. Miguel Reese is giving him the Philly knuckle shuffle and shit. He's like, hey, son. He's like, Nick Ring's like, what the hell? Grapplers are weird. We stick together, man. That's the thing, though. Jiu-Jitsu guys, we fucking respect the shit out of each other, man. We may fight and squabble, but...
Bitch, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We may fight and squabble amongst us, but mess with us and watch how quick we burn this mofo down, homie. Jiu-Jitsu people, we stick together. We got, man, we just got a bond that you other guys can't fuck with.
After San Diego, you moved to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, the Victory thing came to a close. There was a school called Goodland that was opening in Santa Barbara, and I was going to visit them, and I was doing seminars and just making money here and there. I wasn't really like a head instructor anywhere. I was kind of floating in between places, and they asked me if I wanted to take on the job of head instructor there. They had Bill Cooper at the time, but Bill Cooper was going through some issues and he wasn't really available for that. So next thing you know, I'm the head instructor of Goodland Jiu-Jitsu, and which just closed because of COVID about 6 months ago. Right. So that was about a 2-year run with Goodland Jiu-Jitsu, and now it's over. And you know, I live in Goleta. I still make I make money now from BJJ Fanatics, from the DVDs that I sell with them. I make more money now without a school than I ever did with the school because of DVD sales.
Good, man.
So it's kind of weird for me. You know, I wake up every day. Every morning, I used to wake up and go teach jiu-jitsu class. Now I don't have a school anymore. So I wake up and like hustle DVD sales instead. And I make so much more money now. You know, I'm getting pretty fat checks every month. And it's weird though, man, because I don't train every day anymore. Like what I did right now, this little seminar, that's the first time I've done jiu-jitsu in months, brother.
Well, it's hard, right? Everything's closed. Like, what are you supposed to do?
I want to open another school.
Yeah, of course.
I want to, but I don't want some sheriff to come and tell me, you know.
Of course, you know, it's crazy right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
what's your favorite part of teaching?
It's a good question. You know, I love seeing people grow. I love seeing students become more confident. I don't know. It's fun too, just kind of being that person, being in that role. Just like, you know, I'm the person everybody's here to learn from. It just feels good. It's a nice little ego boost, I guess. Yeah. You know, in a way. But at the same time, it's not like I'm just like boosting my ego. I'm also like helping people improve their lives. So that's pretty cool.
Well, you know, you can help them, right? And
yeah, so we help them, you know.
Like it helped you and you want to give back, right?
Right, exactly.
And that makes you happy.
Yeah, and it makes me deal with the negative. Like there's a lot of things that suck about being a gym owner. You know, students come in and complain about shit. You don't want to hear it. They want to tell you about their injuries. You don't want to hear it. You know, whatever it is, I don't want to hear it, but I got to pretend that I care and act like I care and actually care. I need to actually care and not just pretend like I care. And that's good for me. I think that's good for us as teachers. It makes us better humans and better people.
Connection, right?
Connection with these people, you know, and I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. But there's still that Mark Lehman part of me. Mark Lehman was always like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I don't want to hear about your day. I don't want to hear about your excuses. I don't want to hear about your job. You come in, you shut the fuck up, and you train. And that's it. No talking, quit the chit chat. Let's get right to it. That's how I am sometimes with students.
What is Mark Lehman these days?
Mark, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He was in Texas, right?
I think so, yeah.
With what's his name?
Team Takedown and stuff.
Team Takedown, yeah.
I'm not sure if that all fell apart, but I know a lot of people didn't like that about Mark. I loved that about Mark though, man. I was like, I love it. This guy just wants to come in and get down to business and train and work on some stuff while everyone else wanted to chit chat about their goddamn day and talk about whatever their jobs and compare stories with each other. Mark was like, shut up, let's train. Yeah. And that pushed away a lot of guys.
Yeah. I remember like in Brazil, like for me, I remember because, you know, in Brazil, it was like very, well, at least it was very chit chatty, you know, at the beginning, people hang out, it's the social aspect, you know, but for me, I just wanted to train, you know, but I appreciate now like the social aspect, you know. So I think it's a balance, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate it now that I don't have a gym. And like to have a social engagement with somebody, I have to go to like a coffee shop or something. What do I do? I don't go to bars.
Right.
So I'm not going to bars to talk to people. You know, it's like, where do I get to talk to people now? Holy shit, I need a jiu-jitsu school back in my life, man.
That's it, you know? That's it.
It's like I said, I'm not going to a bar. I don't enjoy going to coffee shops and like sparking up conversations with random idiots and chit-chatting about shit that they don't want to hear. You know, where am I supposed to make friends?
What are we supposed to do without jiu-jitsu? And without jiu-jitsu gyms?
Get out of shape and have heart attacks? I don't know.
I guess, right?
No.
Is that what the goal is, or what?
I don't know. CrossFit?
They're close too. And no, thank you. Tag fit, man. Tag fit.
And no, thank you.
Man, I got certified, you know, but I always wanted to do tag fit, you know. So me just getting involved, like I'm so grateful because I can. It's the, you know, I always compare it to, you know, people watch the UFC. And they think they want to do MMA, but what they want to do is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they would look at CrossFit and they think they want to do CrossFit, but what they really want to do is tag fit.
Nice.
Because it's sustainable. It's the right thing. It's all the right way to train and the right way of life, you know?
Yeah. It's not as culty. CrossFitters are culty.
Yeah. But
so are we, though. So are we.
Yeah, you know, it's community building, you know, for sure. Like tag fit is too, you know, very, very community. You know, so that's why I like it, because there's a respect, you know? It's not just fitness. There's like a respect.
That's
deep respect, yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I definitely need to come do one of those tag fit workouts with you.
Yeah, man.
I would love to.
So what's your favorite memory of competing?
That was a pretty good one. You guys all lifted me up on the shoulders, and
that one, huh?
That was pretty nice.
That's mine, man.
That was a pleasant memory
for me. When I think about you, we picked you up. There was nobody in that. It was us, you know. It was just us. And we picked you up, like, it was crazy. I think we even went outside, like, you know, in the middle of Canada in some small town. Yeah. And we didn't give a damn. We were going crazy, man.
Yeah. That was a special day for me. It really was. I remember feeling like, man, this is a community that loves me. These are a bunch of dudes that fucking love me, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I had never had that, you know. I never had that in any sports or social situation. I've never been like adored like that. And just valued so much. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm so blessed. I can die happy because of memories like that. You know, I have so many, like something like that. Or like another memory that's really special to me was the Barrett Yoshida match when I fought Barrett Yoshida at Metamoris. And I had to keep a secret for 2 weeks, you know. Halleck was like, yo, do you want to do a secret match with Barrett Yoshida? You can't say anything. You're going to be the commentator. And then we'll have you get up out of the commentating booth and just get right on the mat and have a match. Blah, blah.
That was big.
And I had to keep that secret, man, you know, and I kept it for 2 weeks. And even Kenny Florian, who was next doing the commentary, he didn't even know. I kept the secret from him. Yeah. So that was
a secret too from Kenny, huh? Damn.
Yeah, even Kenny didn't know. So when I stood up and I did my thing, Kenny was like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was special. I went from like 10,000 followers to like 70,000 followers overnight on Instagram from that show. So that was special.
Man, your Instagram, I remember you had another one, and then it got hacked, right?
That's the one. That's the one that got shut down.
Oh. So why? How did that happen?
I'm not sure, brother. I honestly don't know.
It's crazy,
It could have been a couple of things. I don't know. I was posting a lot back in the day about weed. I don't know if I was like insulting the administrators of Instagram or something. I don't know what happened, bro. All of a sudden my 70,000 people were completely deleted and I had to start all over.
That's crazy.
So now I'm back at 44,000 people. So what's
the worst memory you have of competing and just jiu-jitsu life? Like a low moment.
There was a tournament I did in Vegas where I was super egotistical and I thought I could just beat everybody, and I was just, you know, I didn't have a hard time with anybody rolling. And I went out drinking the night before with Scotty before a tournament. And, you know, the next day I was like, I'm fine. I can go out drinking and show up and win a tournament. That's how badass I am. And I won my weight class, you know, pretty easily. And I was like, I'm going to do the 185 weight class. And I entered the 185 weight class. And I fought this dude, and I was just like so egotistical. I was like, I'm going to tap all these dudes. Because at the time, I was tapping big dudes. I was winning the absolute. I was like, if I can win the absolute, I can win the 185, even though I'm 145. Yeah. So anyway, this guy beats me. I lost by like 4 points. He like a sweep and a takedown. I couldn't sweep the guy. I couldn't do any of my shit that I was normally doing, you know. And I was trying so hard. And he was like a purple belt. You know, I had just lost to a purple belt. I was a black belt.
Yeah.
And I threw up on the side of the mat. I crawled off the mat and fucking puked. And I remember sitting there and everyone's watching me and I'm like, I got vomit all over the mat. And I was like, this is a low point. This is a low point. Don't go out drinking the night before your damn tournaments, Jeff. Who do you think you are? You're not that good. That was a low one for me. I struggled for a few weeks after that with myself. I'm like, God, I'm a piece of shit. God, I lost to a purple belt. Fuck. Oh, everyone saw me throw up. Oh, man, I'm such a loser. That was a rough one. That was a rough one.
Did you ever do it again?
Nope.
Yeah.
Dude, alcohol and jiu-jitsu don't go well together. At least not for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't like drinking in general anyway. I like smoking weed.
Your whole, if you had one word to define your jiu-jitsu life.
Pleasant.
Pleasant.
It's been very pleasant. It's been very, very pleasant. A lot of good people I've met. A lot of great people I've met, you know. And I'm just so thankful. I'm blessed and fortunate and just happy.
You could die tomorrow, right? I feel the same. Directly, you know, all the guys who've lived our life to the fullest. Huh?
Absolutely. We're going to live forever, man. You know, we've done things that will be viewable forever. We will always have our videos on YouTube. 2,000 years from now, if YouTube's still around, some kid can go back and watch an Alberto Crane versus whatever. You can go back and watch a Jeff Glover highlight and it's always going to be there. Yeah. And that feels good because there's people that are dead and forgotten the next day. You know, I think I heard Chrome Gracie say this. He's like, you're only dead once people say your name for the last time. It's like the Coco. Did you see the cartoon? The Coco cartoon. That just when they start when you're forgotten. You know. Yeah. That you're really dead. You know. Yeah. As long as people remember you. You know. Yeah. I guess I just care about like the teaching. You know, and of course like that's a part of it. You know, but what you're doing here will be remembered for a long time. Yeah, for sure, You know. That's what I think, in the community, you know, like giving the community and helping people be their best, you know. It's a special thing. We're in a privileged place, man. Yeah, that's it. You know, that's it. You know how they used to say when we were kids, it feels much better to give than to receive. I remember as a kid being like, bullshit, I love receiving video games and fucking action figures and rollerblades. And I love receiving things. But now I'm learning it's so not true, man. I feel so much better giving things to people. Yeah. You receive when you give. Right. You receive when you give. That feeling of feeling good about giving something to somebody is the prize. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And we get to do that a lot as jiu-jitsu guys and jiu-jitsu teachers. It's a special job, man. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for your inspiration in the past, today. You know, always great hanging out with you. Hell yeah. Hope to talk to you again. Hope to have you back here again. Hope to do TACFIT with you. Yes, sir. Hope we, you know, stay connected and more, you know, we're always like doing our things, you know, but I hope to connect with you more. Really thank you, man. You know, you have a painting behind you because of that, you know, really the jiu-jitsu on your knuckles and you are such the representative, you know, of you are jiu-jitsu, you know, it's like runs through your veins. Like, what else do you have that you are jiu-jitsu? What would you be doing without jiu-jitsu? I always say it's the 3 J's, bro. I had 3 options in life, and they all start with J. Jail, work at Jiffy Lube, or get involved in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Much better. Thank you, man. Hey, well, thank you again, Alberto. I appreciate you having me, man. It's been fun talking to you. Can I do a shout out? Yeah, please. Yeah, shout out to Scott Nelson and My Lucky Gi, my sponsor. Been my gi sponsor for 20 years. Shout out to BJJ Fanatics, where I sell all my instructional DVDs. Alberto Crane, Draculino, the legend, and last but not least, my coach, Ricardo Frangio Miller. Thanks for everything. How can people find you? Instagram. If you go to Jeff Glover BJJ, I'm on there. If you go to BJJ Fanatics, I sell DVDs there, and that's where I make most of my money. Yeah, other than that, that's about it. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you too. Us.